For entrepreneurs, getting to know the customer very well cannot be overemphasized. Customer knowledge starts with good customer profiling. There are three methods for classifying and profiling customers. The first one is demographics, or people measurements. The second one is psychographics, or measuring the customer motivations and preferences. The third one is technographics, or the level of expertise that customers have in using a product. Let us begin with demographics. In demographic classification, we categorize customers into the following: age, social classes, income classes, reference groups, ethnic backgrounds, religious beliefs, occupations, and domiciles. Different age groups have different needs over their lifetime. Babies consume a lot of infant food and drink a lot of milk. School children use a lot of school supplies. Teenagers, they like trendy clothes and hip, cool sports gear. Young adults may want to buy a car. Low price, not too fancy, nothing luxurious. Older adults invest in good homes, take family vacations, and also invest in their children's education. Income levels determine the purchasing power of customers. Usually, the customers are classified according to the following income levels. Class A, the high income class. Class B, the upper middle income class. Class C, the middle income class. Class D, the lower middle income class. And finally, Class E, the low income class. Ethnic backgrounds and religious belief affect the cultural behaviors of people, such as the food they eat, how they save, and how they spend, their levels of conservatism or progressiveness. Social classes and reference groups often dictate what is acceptable and what is unacceptable behavior. These classes or groups often include family, friends, neighbors, fellow workers, and in some cases, caste and highly stratified societal affiliations. Occupations such as factory foremen, doctors, taxi drivers, nurses, and teachers will determine what kinds of goods and services people would buy. Domiciles or habitats, areas of residence, and environmental surroundings define and limit the choices available to customers. Next, let's go to psychographics. Psychographics defines the customer's motivations, perceptions, preferences, and lifestyle. Motivation goes to the roots of customers' needs and wants. This can be classified into physiological and psychological. Physiological needs and wants include the satisfaction of thirst, hunger, and shelter. Psychological needs and wants refer to the customer's personal likes and dislikes. Perception is the way a person receives information from the external world. While motivation provides the impetus for action, perception defines exactly what that person will do. Usually, information comes through our five senses. A person will process this information using faculties of the brain. Hence, different persons may actually see different things in very different ways. Because of our genetics, our nature, our environment, our experience, our exposure, our expectations, we begin to prefer certain people, certain things, certain colors, certain textures over others. We begin to have a unique set of preferences and also a unique set of abhorrences. We begin to appreciate things because of our emotional and mental memories. Preferences shape customer decisions. Finally, in psychographics, there are lifestyle classifications that talk about what people value most in their lives. Some talk about their behavioral characteristics as consumers. The Values and Lifestyles developed at Stanford Research Institute is a sample of lifestyle classification. They decoded people as 1. Survivors, 2. Sustainers, 3. Belongers, 4. Emulators, 5. Adventurers, 6. Individualists, 7. Experientials, 8. Socially conscious, and finally 9. Integrated. Another lifestyle classification classifies people as to whether they are 1. Apathetic, 2. Middle roader, 3. Occasional experimenter, or 4. Trendsetter. And last, we have technographics. Technographics classifies people according to their level of expertise in using a product or a service. For example, sports beginners might just want basic equipment. Sports regular may be looking for more sophisticated equipment. Finally, sports professionals will want the best of the best for competitive purposes. In technographics, products and services can range from general purpose item to highly specialized, customized, and technologized goods. Let us see how we can apply customer profiling. The entrepreneur can use customer profiling in 2 ways. The first way is to develop a product or service to test out in the marketplace. The customers most attracted to the product or service can then be profiled. After profiling, the next step is to find out how huge this market is for exploitation purposes. The second way is to profile the different types of customers in a given industry or area as to their needs and wants. From these types, the entrepreneur could then choose the customer group with the best potentials. Finally, products or services can be developed by the entrepreneur to match this chosen customer group. Customers with similar needs and wants and similar willingness and ability to pay can be grouped into one customer segment. Within this customer segment, we can have finer cuts. We can have different consumer subsegments. And within these subsegments, we can even have finer and finer cuts. Therefore, we can produce products and services that are highly specialized for this type of consumer segment. To set itself apart from the competition, an enterprise can differentiate its products or services. Customers will perceive in these differentiated offerings a higher value, a greater utility, and a tighter fit to their needs and wants. Advertising and promotion, clever packaging, and more consistent selling messages may be able to influence customers' perception. The enterprise can aspire for a perfect fit between the product or service and the particular needs and wants of the target customers. Compared to the competitors' offerings, an enterprise can also differentiate its products or services within a bigger market segment in order to convey higher value or greater utility. Some entrepreneurs prefer to appeal to as broad a market as possible. They want market aggregation rather than market segmentation. They prefer to deal in commodities like rice, bread, and water that appeal to market aggregates rather than market segments. Our next task is to do a good market map. Customers and products can be grouped according to certain market variables. Market mappers can use demographics, technographics, and psychographics in several permutations and combinations to do their market maps. For example, students can be mapped according to their school life stage or age and household income bracket. Focusing further on the tertiary school stage, the students can further be mapped according to their household income and occupational preferences. Zeroing in on occupational preferences at a certain income level, a technographic and psychographic grade combination can be drawn. Taking accountancy as the preferred occupation, students can be classified according to their mathematical aptitude, technographic, and according to their motivation for taking the accountancy course, psychographic. Product or services can be mapped according to their relative positioning in the market, based on certain consumer parameters. Schools offering medical degrees, for example, can be mapped according to the perceived degree of difficulty of entry and their tuition fees. The purpose of market mapping is to provide the market analysts a better understanding of the market as a whole, and to paint a clearer picture of where the different competitors are relative to the different market segments. Market mapping would also allow entrepreneurs to discover market segments that are relatively unserved or underserved. They could then develop products and services that will fill the gaps in the marketplace. In summary, we've learned to profile customers according to demographics, psychographics, and technographics. We've learned how to apply these techniques. We've learned how to segment and aggregate the market. Finally, we've learned to do a market map that would position products and services in the different market segments.